Harrison, it was he wasn't well known at that time,
Not at all.
but he was a quiet, competent actor. I won't say anything remarkable because there wasn't anything
Yeah.
remarkable. Uh, just it takes that magic moment when the right person plays the right part
Got
and
it.
they erupt on the scene. It's the 20-year veteran who is considered an overnight success.
Exactly. Exactly. Hey, you know what? We just mentioned Journey to Shiloh.
Yeah.
I hope I'm getting this one right. Was Jimmy Caan in that one?
No, that was Journey to Shiloh.
Yeah, for Journey to Shiloh, though. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
meant. Yeah.
Time for Killing was another set.
Right.
The
What was James Caan like at that time?
Well, it was fun. I know I've told this story before, but it bears repeating. All of us in that picture were contract players at Universal, and all of our contracts were pay or play. If they didn't put you in a film, they had to pay you. Well, that's a terrible waste of money. So they found this script called Journey to Shiloh, and Jimmy Caan was playing the lead, but also in the piece was Michael Sarrazin, Michael Burns, Don Stroud, Harrison Ford, Jan Michael Vincent, and
Oh,
me.
wow.
So now I got to tell you, you look at that cast, that's some heavy duty firepower.
Oh,
I'm serious.
it's cool.
And Jimmy Caan, at the beginning of the picture, had us all sitting around together, and he said, "Look, we all know we're being stuck in this picture. They're just getting rid of our obligation." So he said, "Let's make it a lot better than they think it is." And we set about making a good movie, not just a movie.
I love it. I
Yeah,
absolutely
me too.
love it. You
Yeah,
had,
I thought that,
oh, go ahead, please.
no, I was just going to say he is a clear-eyed performer. He understood the parts that had a big impact on people.
He's one of my favorites. Always
Well,
was. It hurt when he went.
cool.
But the other one was Day of the Bad Men. Did I get that right? Yeah, Day of the.
No, that's not me.
No,
David Banner.
I thought there was a Fred McMurray movie in there that you had
Oh,
done.
yeah, Happiest Millionaire.
Oh no, that's I can't believe I mixed that one up. Yeah, the
It's,
John Davidson, of course, the one with
yeah,
John Davidson.
exactly.
Yeah. What what
Exactly.
what was that
That
like?
was that was actually fun. Remember now, my first job in Hollywood, I got fired from the Mouseketeers.
Oh, that's
But
right.
the first job I did after the Donna Reed show was Happiest Millionaire. That Walt Disney hired me, and it was great, full circle.
Oh,
Eddie Hodges and I got to play brothers, the improbable brothers.
you were
We had a
terrific
wonderful.
together. Like
Well,
terrific.
it was. We're fast friends. You know, he's an expert therapist. Doesn't live in Hollywood.
Oh,
Uh, well, anyway, we got to sing this wonderful song with John Davidson. You watch your footsteps. Better learn to bob and weave. Anyway, it was fun. I was always saddened that was Walt Disney's last picture,
yeah.
and he died without having the chance to put finishing touches on the movie. And you can see, looking back, you can see how much he was missed because it was a wonderful libretto. It was great songs,
Mhm.
a wonderful cast, but it didn't have that Disney finish. Well, how could it? Walt died. Nonetheless, I was there at Disney with Walt's last picture.
Did you get to meet him?
Oh, many times. You know, Hollywood is not a big place. So you would see people at various events, whether they were charity events or the opening of a supermarket.
Mhm.
Uh, so, yes, Uncle Walt was known to a lot of people. He was a very big player in a way that it's almost impossible to explain to people. He was asked by Ray Bradbury, no less, why don't you run for the mayor of Los Angeles? And Walt Disney, don't take this wrong, said to him, why would I run for mayor when I'm already king?
Oh my gosh.
But it's true.
Mm-hmm.
People treated him so poorly within the Hollywood community because he was conservative. He was not extravagant with his salary basis, but he built Disneyland, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
He won Oscars for everything he touched. It wasn't just Mary Poppins. It was, Seals of the Pribilof.
Mm-hmm.
And Sunday nights were Walt Disney's Wonderful World. He was an institution within the community, and yet the community didn't really embrace him the way it ought to have embraced him.
And he loved, I've had a few people on that knew him fairly well. Rich Carell, I don't know if you're familiar with Rich Carell or not from Leave It to Beaver, but a couple of these people and that knew him. And every single one, first of all, they say exactly what you said, Uncle Walt. And the other one is he loved sincerely. It wasn't a show. It was for real. He loved kids and he was really interested in them.
Yes, he was. He had a great impact on an entire or two generations of children. Going back to Mickey Mouse back in the 30s, but when you think about Sleeping Beauty and the other efforts that he had, and in television,
yeah,
Snow White, of course. There's almost more than you can wrap your mind around.
Mm-hmm.
And the Disney studios, by Hollywood standards, was really quite small. I think 40 acres, 44 acres. And that's really that was smaller than the backlot of Paramount or MGM. And people loved going there and working with him. I know Bobby Burgess, the dancer from the Mouseketeers, and later
Lawrence Welk.
Lawrence Welk.
Yeah.
He just said, it's fun working with giants because they appreciate every aspect of the endeavor, from the craft service people giving you your food, to the guys building the sets, to the transportation captains, to the cinematographers and directors, and the performers.
Yeah.
And they had to understand and appreciate each facet of the business.
Wow. By the way, since we brought up Happiest Millionaire, it was quite a set. I mean, I thought that big gymnasium area, I mean, it had that Victorian wood look to it. When you do that scene with another scene with Eddie Hodges where I can't remember his name, but he comes over, he's going to be her date or whatever, and you and Eddie, I think, take him apart basically and knock him out. Yeah, that room, the foyer. I mean, it's the library. It's really where was that? Is that all?
It was right on, all on the stage. Look, when you grow up in Hollywood, you can, when they build a cave, you think you're in one. When they want to build a broken down ramshackle Appalachian shack, you think you're in one. These guys are wizards. You want to do Star Trek? You're on a spaceship. That's how good they are. Now, if you're doing an outdoor scene and you have to go over and sit on a rock, somebody's got to come along and make sure you got a real rock, not a phony one.
Yeah.
It's so real.
Wow, that was all a set. I can't believe that. That was extremely detailed.
Yes. Yep. They will duplicate. If you want to have a craftsman home, you'll get that overnight.
Wow.
That's why some of the Hollywood expressions are amazing. The the impossible. What did George Anger say? The difficult takes a lot longer. The impossible we do at once. That's how skilled these people are. They will do things. You believe that there's a dinosaur walking down Wilshire Boulevard. You believe it because they're that skilled.
Wow.
Amazing.
I love it. What, there was one that I saw, and maybe I got the credit wrong, but were you on F Troop?
Yes, absolutely. I was Johnny Eagle Eye. You bet. What fun that was. Wow, those were some wickedly funny people.
Yeah.
Oh, Forrest and I can't think of all
Larry
the names, but
Ken Berry.
yeah, Larry Storch. Oh,
Yeah.
I'd make you laugh. Oh, is it funny? Gosh, I got to play Johnny Eagle Eye,
Oh
the
my gosh.
sharpshooting Indian.
Were
Funny.
they, that's one of the, I loved that show, by the way, but was
Yeah.
that one of those shows that, as far as offset, these guys were still like yucking it up?
Absolutely. Look, it's the only set that I was on where the bar was the back of Forrest's golf cart, and it was open all day,
Oh
all day.
gosh.
So these people were juiced, man.
Oh, is that funny?
Oh, you bet. I never worked with a looser group.
Oh, that's really funny.
Yeah.
Was there any kind of improv in there at all?
Well, yes. How can you control people that funny? I mean, Larry Storch, you're going to control him? Not a chance. It's like imagine trying to control Tim Conway
Right.
or Don Rickles. That's because guys from that era, they made their reputation, they made their career out of being unique.
Yeah.
And sometimes unmanageable.
Oh, that is hysterical. Did
Yeah.
the other one too that I thought about you was because of your overall work with child actors was Dickie Roberts, movie Dickie
Oh,
Roberts.
yes.
What was that like for you? Like more so I think of that just because you've done so much for child actors. What was that like for you to be with all these child actors?
Well, it was great, and I'm happy to say I was involved in that enterprise from the beginning.
Oh,
I'm talking from screenplay forward.
oh no.
Uh, that was then and still friends with every person in that movie.
Huh.
We each have had differing experiences, but at the end of the day, we come together because we did the work. We know what we're talking about when we address legislators or the board of directors at Screen Actors Guild. Just think for a second how different it will be for those young performers in Dickie Roberts when 10 years from now, AI will use our images, duplicate our voices, and you'll think you're looking at us in a contemporary drama.
I know, it really scares.
That's how close we are.
Oh, I know we are.
That's where we're headed. And it's one thing if you take a 30-year-old performer and use his work from when he was 30 and rebroadcast this. That's one thing. But what happens when you do that to an 8-year-old or a 10-year-old?
Yep.
It's going to cause trouble.
Oh, I know it is. I know it is. Who, you said you were with that from the start. So who did you bring on board as far as like the child stars that were in that?
Well, virtually all of them. People, because of a minor consideration, would come to me inquiring about the employability of certain actors.
Yeah.
And certain young performers are unemployable because they're not dependable. They all want to do well. They want to impress, but sometimes their dependencies or their support structure isn't sufficient. But I get mad too on their behalf. You know, when Dana Plato went on Howard Stearn, his attitude and behavior hastened her death.
Oh.
He, in effect, killed her.
Oh, God.
And I will never forgive him for that. There are others within the community, especially the reporting alleged news community, who have thoughtlessly caused a great deal of harm. And as I pointed out earlier, I'm not afraid to get in their face.
Right.
I'm not afraid at all. Because somebody's got to speak up.
Yeah, yeah.
When I went to Washington, D.C. to talk to the tax people, they were taxing Brandon Cruz from The Courtship of Eddie's Father
Oh, geez.
for income taxes that weren't filed by his mother or his management team. He was 6 years old.
Right.
And the federal government was still after him. And Brandon was in his 30s.
Oh, my gosh. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. It's almost that J.D. Vance thing. Do you hear yourself?
Right.
Do you not realize what you are doing? And with that meeting at the Treasury Department, people were in tears. They felt, well, we're following the law. No, you're not. You are imposing a law that doesn't fit the frame of a 6-year-old boy.
That's right. That's right.
And somebody had to tell him that. Terrible.
You know, it's funny. I had Jeremy Miller on. He was on Growing Pains.
Yes.
And he went through a similar thing. And this is, obviously going much closer to the time we're in now, I guess,
Yes.
than Brandon with Courtship of Eddie's Father. And he, same thing. He turns 18. He always like all this money or whatever. And he basically had to turn over what his savings were to the government, or they were going to put his mom in jail.
Actually, the same thing happened to Darby Hinton from
Daniel Boone?
Davy Crockett. Daniel
Davy
Boone.
Crockett.
Davy Crockett. That's funny. No, Daniel Boone. You were
Daniel
right.
Boone. Yeah.
Although in Darby's case, we had, unbeknownst to the federal government, they didn't know about the Coogan law or the stack of bonds being held for Darby Hinton at the LA Superior Court. And because of our advocacy, Barbara Rice ended up calling me one day and says, I think you want to bring Darby Hinton down here. And I told Darby that he's coming with me to court. And we ended up over at First Street and to see about these bonds. Now, these are Series E double in value bonds that were purchased in our names whenever there was sufficient money.
Wow.
So the Internal Revenue Service had taken everything from Darby and his family, everything. But the years went by and they never knew about the Coogan money. Darby had forgotten about it. No one in his family remembered it. And when we went to court, the judge called us into his office outside of the open court and said, who do you have with you today? So here's Darby, he's 6'4", 200. There's me. I'm fit, healthy.
How old are you?
Said, well,
how old is he roughly at this time?
We're mid-30s. I'm Darby's younger than me, not much, but he's younger. And we looked at the judge. What are you talking about? There's us. We're here to pick up the bonds. And he put his hands down on the desk. He said, I'm about to hand you $330,000 in bonds.
Oh my gosh.
Series E bonds.
Oh my gosh. That's something
The government,
else.
if they'd have known about it, would have taken it.
Yeah.
but that one we snuck out.
Oh, thank goodness. I mean, that must have changed like so much for him at that time.
Yes, that's correct. He was already father of 4 kids then, more now. But it affected everybody. When we called Virginia Patton, who was the wife in It's a Wonderful Life, she didn't know that Coogan money had been set aside for her benefit. And as it happened, she married a very prominent industrialist in upstate Minnesota who owned a company called Moss, like Moss buses. We're talking multi-millionaire. And when I called her, I called them at breakfast their time to tell her that I had bonds in her name in the amount of $12,000. And she almost dropped the phone, and her husband, I could hear in the back, he was laughing. $12,000. What's the big deal? And she said this clear as a bell. That's my money. God damn it. I'm going to get it. She came the next day.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
Oh, that's so wonderful.
Yes, but why was it being held in a vault
Yeah.
when it should have been automatic? People should have celebrated the day that the bonds were turned over. It meant everything to particularly the generation I'm talking about.
Yes.
Instead, people became complacent and accepting of Shirley Temple at the end of her performing days. Had a total, this is according to her father, and Shirley's written about this. Before she married her husband, Mr. Black, he wanted to know what the deal was. What does Shirley have after being the world's greatest kid star? And what Shirley had was $40,000 in the bank and the deed to a dollhouse that was built by MGM employees behind her parents' 12-bedroom mansion.
Oh, geez. They also used all the money, huh?
Understand the law. Parents own their child. Parents this is the law. They are entitled to a child's custody, income, and services.
Oh, that is just terrible.
Children are chattel. That's why I do a minor consideration. It's so wrong. This is not a lemonade stand on the curb. This is high profile, high dollar, high pressure employment. And yet there are people, like particularly in reality television, shows like John and Kate +8 and others.
Oh, sure.
People don't understand it's work. It is work. And we had a guy out here in the Department of Labor, Gurley was his name. He said, just seeing a child and in a circumstance where everyone is being compensated constitutes employment. And you think about these reality shows, the director's getting paid, the publicist is getting paid, the writers that they won't acknowledge are being paid, the cinematographer is being paid, but not the children. Sick. To me, these people belong in jail. Honest to God, in jail, literally.
I agree. I do agree with you, actually. I really do. What? Well, all right. We'll change to a more upbeat moment for that.
Why not? Let's not end on that note.
No, we had some. I love all that stuff, though, Paul. I do, because I feel I'm 100% with you on it. So yeah.
Any thinking person should be behind this, because look, this has implications all across the culture. Whether it's for a young athlete, a young tennis player, a young football player, a young child, multiple births who's on a television show, a kid who's working to make sure food is on his family's table, working in the fields in agriculture. They're working, and they deserve the protections of the Fair Labor Standards Act. We just can't be blinded like quote unquote celebrity.
Hmm.
We have to realize that it's work, it's labor.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, okay.
No, I'm with you,
So
and I do. I'm gonna end on a higher. We'll end on I don't know, more
I
fun note.
know.
Not a higher note. That's
Okay.
about as high as we're gonna get. But
That's it.
Gidget grows up. That was another one that I saw in there. And I
Yeah.
honestly, part of it is Karen Valentine, Paul Lynde. I'm always intrigued. She's somebody I've wanted to get on. I just can barely find her. But Paul Lynde, I just thought he was
In a
hysterical.
bunny suit.
Yeah, yeah,
Edward Malaire.
right.
It was great fun to be asked to play that part because was friends then and up until his death recently, friends with Jimmy Darren. We did record albums together, Teenage Triangle.
Oh, I didn't
We,
know that. I didn't know you had also
yeah,
recorded with him. Okay.
yeah, we were all Colpix records. So that was me and Shelley and Jimmy doing two albums called Teenage Triangle.
Oh, wow.
With I was a big fan of Jimmy Darren
Yeah.
by Screen Gems to play that part again. It was wonderful doing it. Karen was a dream to work with. The script was good and it was fun all around.
Was Karen, she's one of those people, I think she really shines on screen, but was she one of those people that is she the same type of person offset as she was on screen? Because she always would kind of play like kind of a little bit ditzy, but she still was smart. She wasn't like, it wasn't like, oh, you're just an airhead. It was like she had something going on. What
Yeah,
would
well, she had that, but she was wonderful to work with, and she was a lot smarter in a lot of parts she was playing. She had to kind of dumb herself down, but
yeah.
she was absolutely adorable. You could believe her as Gidget.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt. What as far as we'll go back like right now, where are you at as far as our present time with a minor consideration? Is there any case or any particular child actors or whatever that you're trying to like,
But
take care
without,
of at the moment?
I, I always must be discreet.
Sure, I
There are
understand. I
people
respect that.
I am celebrating. For example, Demi Lovato's documentary Child Stars.
Hmm.
She knows what she's talking about, and I root for her. I'm pleased for her. She has Gilbert before her has overcome all of the negative aspects of her time working at Nickelodeon,
Hmm.
which was not kid friendly, is not now. Um, I root for Taylor Swift. I love it. I love it that she's beaten the system.
Yeah.
Uh, I am fearful for the news that's going to come out about P. Diddy and these house parties
Yeah.
that the names that have come out, Justin Bieber, for example.
Hmm.
But some of the people lodging complaints, there's a 9-year-old who is part of the complaints.
Yeah, I saw that.
The Hollywood has had a dark underbelly from the beginning.
Yep.
I don't think I told you this the last time, but I want to remind you and your viewers. Back in the day with Errol Flynn,
Hmm.
there was an expression because he had a predilection for young adolescent girls.
Right.
And the expression was, he's in like Flynn.
Yep. I
That
totally
was the
know it.
expression.
Yep.
Well, the decades pass, and Roman Polanski, who has not yet come back to this country to serve his sentence, is introduced at the Academy Awards, and they all stand up and give him a standing ovation.
Hmm.
This pedophile who drugged and sodomized a 14-year-old girl.
Right.
So there's the environment hasn't changed all that much. Children everywhere are at risk.
I get you. I get you. That's
Now,
fair.
that's not as uplifting as it could be, but
No,
there you go, my friend.
it's okay. We don't need to end on dead on uplift. That's
No,
fine. I
that's
think
true
it's
enough.
good. No, I think that's probably good. That's probably a good place. The only one, and it's really just because you are fascinating, the people that you have worked with, and we talked about so many. You know what? I do remember one. We had
Uh-oh.
talked about Cary Grant, but we didn't talk about Sophia Loren, really. Did you get to know her on any level, or what was that like? Because she, I don't know, she's another one that for me, I was always like just blown away just watching her.
I have a picture of myself asleep on Sophia Loren's lap.
Oh, jeez.
There's a whole scene in the movie where we sing a song together,
Yep.
and I knew where I was, and she was a stunning Earth mother. She was the real deal then,
Mm-hmm.
and she still is. But best of all, she raised a fine family. You didn't hear of trouble with Sophia and Carlos' children, not
Right.
at all. And an actress as good as they come.
Yeah.
I loved being around her. I have had the good fortune of working with some extraordinary women, and I am the son of an extraordinary mom and beautiful sisters. I like accomplished women.
Mm-hmm. I get it. It's very fun. It's very funny. I mean, there are other actors, but three that come to mind right away. You, Billy Gray, and Tony Dow come
Yes.
from, strong moms.
Yep.
They were there for you. And I'm not discrediting a dad, by the way, or anything in any of this, but it's very interesting. In the case of all three of you, I find you very down to earth, very real. I mean, Tony, I didn't get the chance to interview him, but I've talked to enough people about him. I've looked at him, and it really says a lot about it right there, where it
Well,
just didn't take your life and send it off on another planet.
what it tells you is that all the rough edges have been ground away. And the three that you mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
we have standouts in our midst. I celebrate Ron Howard more than anyone in our group because what he's accomplished
Mm-hmm.
has improved our culture. It elevated the impact and importance of major cinematic efforts.
Mm-hmm.
We celebrate success, Jodie Foster,
Yep.
but that's not the whole story. We're part of the whole story.
Right.
But I was very fortunate to work with the people that I worked with and have the experience, and wouldn't trade it for a million.
Yeah, I got you. No, it's great. Paul, I really appreciate you. Thank you
Oh,
for
thank
being
you.
on,
It's my pleasure, and it's good timing. I need some more oxygen now.
Okay, well, I
Okay.
appreciate that you did it
Uh,
more ways than I can say. So thanks again for being on it, and I think
Thanks, John.
people are going to really appreciate it.
Well, I hope so, and good fortune to you, John. Thank you very
All
much.
right, hope to see you down the road, Paul. See ya.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, thanks for listening, and definitely hit the subscription button. As well, hit the notification bell so that you'll know when my next episode is released. In addition, check out some of my other interviews if you haven't had a chance. Eric Roberts, Henry Winkler, Jerry Mathers from Leave It to Beaver. There's so many. Enjoy.